This segment of Delmarva Life is brought to you by your local York and LG dealers.
Well, when the temperatures get into the high 80s and the 90s, it seems like your HVAC system is working overtime just to keep you and your family cool.
Well, it's simple. The higher the outside temperature, the harder it is to keep your inside of your house cool. But there are ways to ease the stress on your system, allowing it to run less, thus saving you money.
When we think of air conditioning, we think of a modern luxury, but it really dates back centuries.
It was way back with the Egyptians and the pharaohs. Every morning, of course, the Egyptians would bring in these 2,000-pound stones in to make the pharaoh very comfortable during the daytime.
We've come a long way.
The work is not as hard.
Now, keeping cool is as easy as adjusting a thermostat, but it can be costly.
It's ever a changing world that we're having in energy right now, and especially with the energy crunch. So many people are looking for different ways to save. And it's kind of amazing that in the last 15 or 20 years, how much it's changed.
James Dean with Comfort Air Services of Easton says it starts with knowing how your system works.
Education is a big part of my business because the more you know, believe it or not, it becomes easier for me to analyze and service your problems.
Starting with filters.
Filters are about the number one thing all the time. They don't know where they are. They didn't know they had one. That was one of our biggest questions.
A clean filter prevents extra strain on your system.
A lot of times, believe it or not, somewhere I would say between 12% to 18% of our service calls we go out, we find filters that have been there from day one.
Dean says most filters should be changed once a month. Another determinant, the placement of the thermostat.
A lot of times when people put thermostats on the wall, they put them near lamps. And they don't realize that lamps generate heat, which affects the thermostat.
Other ways to keep your house cooler, quite simple.
If you notice that a lot of your older homes, when they didn't have air conditioning, shade trees were one of the most important things because they put shade on the house itself. A lot of blinds were used back then to reflect the light back outside. A lot of people like dark roofs. Well, black absorbs more heat than any other color, so you can just about figure out where we're going from there. Lighter the roof, the less heat load.
Dean says even what you put on your floor can make a big difference. Carpet adds an extra layer of insulation. You can even insulate your electrical outlets.
For electrical outlets, they make these little foam things that you can go to any of your hardware stores that fits right under your outlet.
If you have an older house, a little weather stripping goes a long way to keep you comfortable. And don't forget the fireplace. Hot air can enter your room through the chimney.
The glass is an important feature, especially in the summertime, to keep this from happening.
Other money-saving tips involve protecting the outside unit. You want to keep the area around it clear. Bushes shouldn't be any closer than 12 inches to the unit. This prevents debris from getting into your system.
In that case, bushes are like any vegetation itself. They break down and then, of course, it becomes mulch, and the air conditioner uses a fan outside that draws in from the side and blows up through the top. So you're taking all that mulch and everything and literally putting it into your fins or your coil that runs around the outside, and they get neglected.
Another tip, keep the outdoor unit clean.
So it doesn't even hurt for a general homeowner to take his garden hose out there and every once in a while spray the outside coil and knock some of the dust down.
Dean says fencing in the unit is fine, but keep the system easily accessible.
A lot of people do put lattice work around them. That is a nice shading thing, but what they forget to do is put in a way for the service tech to get to them. They will build this fence up and put all these ungodly screws in, and then the poor technician is stuck between 6 inches of the fence trying to service these things.
Dean says the easier the access to the unit, the less time the technician spends working on it, saving you more.
Another money-saving tip, if you have ceiling fans, you want to make sure they're pushing the air down in the winter and pulling the air up in the summer. Most ceiling fans have switches to reverse the direction of the blades. And to learn more about Comfort Air Services, just go to our website, delmarvalife.com, click on the Show tab.